right. I'll go ahead. Hey, Courtney, good morning. Great weekend on the East Coast. Obviously, just about everybody got a piece of the pie, it seemed. You set a record for runs scored in a opening weekend and also had a little bit of adversity too, which is good this time of year. So just kind of talk about your takeaways from the weekend overall.
Well, you just summed it up, Kyle. So I don't know what else you did it. Yeah, I think that I was really pleased with the weekend. Obviously, we had the hiccup there, but I think that's something that is a huge learning opportunity for us so early. It's why we scheduled the way that we did. And so I think that we came out of the weekend really loving this team, loving the tools we have, loving the lessons that we learned. Some big takeaways, some things to work on. Exactly what you want to get out of the first weekend.
And two, you could go down the list, but two of your top performers were Brenly, true freshman, and then of course one of your newcomers, transfers, and Tiana Bell. I think Brenly had freshman of the week numbers. If you ask me, I mean just
I
really,
agree. I agree.
yeah, yeah.
She,
And not to take anything away from the Kentucky pitcher, she had great
you know,
numbers
she
too.
had
But
I think she had a no hitter in her first
yeah,
start, right?
yeah,
That's
I
pretty
believe
awesome.
that's right. Yeah, so definitely good there. But I mean, and then Ramsey got her first home run. Kennedy hit that grand slam. So it's been particular though. Brinley, I know that you had talked about that you had a lot of depth there. Behind the dish. Because you already had Kaylee that could play there as well if need be. So the depth just gets even deeper there, particularly at catcher, especially with what Brinley can do with her bat.
Yeah, I mean, Bryn had a huge weekend. Ken's swinging it like we know Ken can, and I think that's the big thing going in, having that depth, because it's such a long season and it's grueling. It's grueling on your body. It's grueling on your mind. That position, and so just having the ability to use both of them, and keep them fresh and keep them in the game. Bryn's weekend was huge. No surprise. If anyone was surprised, they just hadn't paid attention or hadn't listened to anything, like that we've been talking about her. But she was incredible this weekend. Exactly like we knew that she would be.
And last one for me, of the teams that you play this weekend, you've got Clemson twice, and John Rittman, started that program at Clemson into the COVID season, and has made it to the postseason every year. I think three super regionals. With him being at Stanford for as long as I imagine y'all have probably crossed paths before, but just talk about the job that he's done at Clemson and any kind of past contact that y'all have had.
Well, everything John Rittman touches in the softball world is great. He's I know him very well from my time at Cal. He's just such a great coach. He has a great mind for the game. He's a great developer. I mean, everything he does in this game is great. Everything he touches. So it's no surprise that he got Clemson rolling and got him rolling so quickly. And they were, I mean, so close to going last year, and they have a really strong team again. And so I'm not surprised by that at all. He's done an incredible job everywhere he's been. Did I answer his question?
Ethan, hey, I just have one real quick. Just what did you think of the collective effort from your pitchers this weekend and getting to, get everybody out there in the circle at least once?
I was really pleased with it. I think that anytime you go into your first weekend and you get to get everyone out there and get some of those jitters and be in a position where you can do that, get some of those jitters out of the way, I think it's huge. I also just liked that it wasn't a straight line for us. I thought we had some really big performances. I thought that um, we had some uncharacteristic and had performances, and we got to go right back to it. And so I just it's going to take the whole staff, and it was nice to utilize all those tools.
Eric?
I want to let's kind of expand a little bit on Sailor. What'd you think of her making this week? Obviously, a big deal throwing her right there right away. Gets good competition there, getting that experience. Tell me a little bit more about Sailor and what she brings to your team.
Well, she brings a lot. She can throw it. And it's really great to one get her out there and at the end of game one in a position where she could um just settle in right away and then give her that start. We see a lot in her. I mean, she has a lot of tools. She has the ability to just really spin it, and she's so composed. And I think the thing is, especially on that first day with Robin too, neither of them felt that great. And so to see Sailor especially as a freshman, not feel great with her body, how it was moving. It was cold. We had a quick turnaround with travel. She just felt like she really couldn't get into her rhythm. And for her to fight through that and have the performance that she did, it's exactly what you want to see out of any pitcher. We saw it from Rob too. I would expect it from Rob as a senior, but it was really great to see that from Sailor, and just the grittiness to continue to compete and know that her stuff that day was better. It was good. It was good enough. She used her defense, and I was just really pleased with her composure all around.
Kennedy Miller with a great first week. I think that's huge for her moving forward for this season and putting last year behind. I know we talked about her and having a great fall. Just talk about though those seeing those results for her. Did you sense that confidence back in her there this week?
Yeah, she's been grinding. She's been grinding, and Kennedy thrives in competition too. She's a gamer. She loves it. She's always been one from her freshman year. She's always been one that makes the most of the moment. And um, I just am pleased of the confidence she exuded this weekend, because I know that she just let her hard work and her prep play out, and it was good to see.
And then my last one here. This is a strong tournament here. You've got week two is a ton of depth. I'm always curious, and I know the answer. Part of the answer is Matt Michael has the answer, but when you enter
I'm
a
like,
tournament like the,
I know what you're gonna ask, and you already know the answer. No, I'm
I
just kidding.
do, but I do, but he's not here, so I have to ask
Okay.
you first.
Okay.
When you get into a tournament on the road, how much information do you know about teams that will be in it versus not in it? Like this one, because this is a stacked tournament. This is a very postseason type tournament you're about to enter here in week two, where there's no Wichita States and the Clemsons and Texas State, who is one of the favorites in the Sun Belt.
Yeah, well, we do our scheduling probably a little later than everyone else. We like to see how things fill up. We know we do everything on purpose. Matt Michaels calculating and figuring out, where we're going to get the most value, where we're going to get tested, where we're going to grow as a team, and where we're going to get the most value for who we play, and always looking at the big picture and building our resume from game one. So we do our schedule a little later. We knew everybody in it before we asked to get in it, and we got lucky because they had a team drop out, which is kind of how we roll when it comes to scheduling. Our home tournaments, we feel pretty early with Matt kind of hand selecting the best ones to put together, so everyone's benefiting from who's at the tournament. And then we like to see how away tournaments fill up, so we know exactly who we're going to get. And so we know it's going to be a test. We know that these teams, they win a lot of games. They win a lot of games, and they do a lot of things really well. So we're going to get tested, and we're going to build our resume.
Kyle?
I wanted to ask you, Courtney, about because coming into the Akron game Sunday, Reagan Johnson, I think all 176 of her games at that point she had led off, and then you flipped her and Dakota at the 1 and 2 hole. I know both of them kind of got off to a little bit of a slow start. Was that just something that you all recommended to them? Hey, do you just want to flip? Obviously, it worked. It worked very well. But was that just something that you're like, oh, look, we need to change some things up. Why don't we try this?
Well, I think that's what you're trying to do early. Yeah, we sat there too, making the lineup going. Reagan's never not let off,
Yeah.
and Dakota's had an incredible career as a leadoff also. And so it's a great problem to have. No one's going to feel bad for us and having to decide what outstanding leadoff should we put in the leadoff position. But I think early we're still trying to figure out what are the best way to put all our pieces together. And just because we have grown accustomed to having Ray in the leadoff, it doesn't mean that that's going to be the best utilization of all our tools. And so I think we just ultimately we're just trying to challenge, ourselves to just kind of like, let's still work to how are we going to best work together? How are we going to best put the pieces, the tools that we have into, the best lineup? I don't know that it's going to continue to change. I don't know if we'll go back to Ray or we'll keep Co. They both are incredible leadoffs that have huge tools. And the nice thing is, both of them, they don't take the bat away from the other. A lot of times we've gone to Ray because we didn't have the speed behind her. And so now, with Dakota, if she gets on, which when she gets on, because that's who Dakota is, she doesn't take race tools away because she can run. And so there's so many things we're going to continue to work through. I don't know that we have the best answer yet, but it worked on Sunday. Every once in a while, something coaches do works. It worked on Sunday, and we'll see where we go from here.
I'll hop in with another one. Just Ramsey Walker to have the weekend that she had. Just I guess how refreshing is that to see her as a sophomore making the most of her opportunities.
It's just refreshing to see because she's worked for it. She's so great. She's just like such a bright light. And so you could see it in her success of everyone celebrating her. She just grinds, she puts her head down and grinds. And for her to just have that confidence and make the most of the opportunity. It's a tough role, one of the toughest roles, toughest jobs in all of sports, I think, is to pinch hit. And for her to come in and make the most of the moment, trust her prep, have that confidence. It's just always huge to see, and it's just exciting to see it that Ramsey have that moment.
Eric?
Cam and kind of the load management of Cam to pitch and then to hit. How is that going from a staff there? What did you see? How do you think that went week one, and how do you see that moving forward with her as far as deciding, okay, she'll pitch and hit versus just pitching versus maybe we might use her pinch hitting. It's a great problem to have because she could do a lot of things, brings a lot to the table.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have. I think it's her role is going to continue to evolve, and when she is swinging it the way she does, when she's pitching the way she does, it only makes us stronger of just being able to mix and match how we need to. And I mean, man, she was really good this weekend on both sides. As we expected, she's been working her tail off. But yeah, so her role is going to continue to evolve. She's going to be a major player in what we do this year.
Winning is the most important thing, but I've talked to a lot of coaches that they feel like week one, they want to get as many players in just to get your feet wet, just to see what, hey, here we go, we're get to go, and now we can work from there. How big was that to get as many players as you did week one and accomplish that goal? I would assume that was a part of the goal. I know winning's number one, but that had to be a big factor this week as a staff to let's get as many players in and see where they're at.
Yeah, that's always our intent when you go into weekend one is creating some momentum, creating some collectiveness, like really, really leaning into that collectiveness and then just seeing, what is the best combination, who is going to thrive in each of these roles. I think when you get on the other side of the weekend, you're always kind of like, gosh, I wish we could have done more, wish we could have done this, when we get through the weekend and you're going to the weekend thinking that you're going to play at least 35 innings, and then when you don't get that, there's innings taken away and opportunities taken away from people that we need to get them. And so it's a good problem to have, but also like, gosh, I wish we could have done X, Y, and Z. And so I do like coming out of the weekend, learning what we did about our group, getting a lot of opportunities for everyone. But I think I look going, I'm glad we run rolled, but also I wish we had those, handful of innings to kind of spread out, especially in this really talented staff that we have.
My last question, what was an area that you feel like for going from week one to week two, you want to kind of address? Maybe, hey, let's be better in this area. I know there's always a lot of areas to be better at, but just specifically anything from week to week, from week one that you say, okay, let's button this up here in week two and get better. And was there an area that surprised you from week one?
Okay, I have now gotten this question from my mom, Eric, and
Oh,
from Hunter, our AD. He was just like, what was the positives? What were the things you want to work on? And I told Hunter, I'm like, just so you know, Hunter, I got the same question from my mom. So Eric, I got the same question from mom. Anyway, coming out of the weekend, I hate losing. So I need to say that first. I like that we hit some of that adversity, and I like the lesson that we get to learn that from this first weekend because we eventually inevitably have to learn the lesson. And we haven't necessarily learned it as early as we got to learn it this weekend of just trusting the plan a little bit more offensively, and making bigger adjustments. We have really great adjustability. That's one of the things that, I mean, we do a really great job with offensively. And I just didn't think that we had the intent in that second Virginia game. And so I think that's a huge lesson to learn. I think we got to learn the lesson too that we have a lot of tools and we don't have to be perfect. I think we learned that, in the pitching, in the circle of, not needing to be perfect, just competing for our team, and just really trusting the people around. So I was happy with how we grew through the weekend. I'm happy with how we showed up after the Virginia game. I'm happy with how we showed up on Sunday, when we were warming up in upper 20s. It was warmer in Fayetteville. It was in 60s in Fayetteville, and we were playing in 30s, and so I like a lot of those things. I like a lot of the character things, and I like the lessons that we got to learn, and so I hope that we learn them and make those adjustments.